Welcome, everybody. Hi, I'm Keith Vitali, and welcome to Psyche Podcast. And this episode, I'm really excited to be at the bottom of Atlanta in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, everybody. This is the promoter, Greg Ruth. This is his tournament, the bottom of Atlanta. My episode's all about the bottom of Atlanta this year, and it means a lot to me personally because this is a tournament that kickstarted my entire career. I won the Great Championship twice, got on some covers, and then again, Hollywood discovered me from the covers all because of this tournament. So I love the fact that you're promoting this national event. Tell me about the tournament this year. Is it up from last year or how's it going?
Uh, since I've owned the Bible since 2011, this is the biggest event we've ever had. Yeah, it's definitely up over last year, quite a bit. And the unique thing about that is for us is we did a pre-registration only event this year. So it means you had to be pre-registered
Wow.
before you could compete, so we could run it a little better and a little more efficient. And yes, we've had some extremely large numbers. We've had to split many divisions this year. Probably the biggest division based on national stuff that's out there with all the other events was the Team Sync and Team Weapons divisions. There were 27 teams, so it was just everything's just been bigger numbers this year than so. Since COVID, it's sport karate's back.
Right. That's going to ask you about this. So
Absolutely.
COVID killed every industry, every business, of course, including sports, but it's so great to have you guys back. And one of the reasons that I enjoy the bottom of Atlanta is because it was one of my first win, but I love the people that compete in these tournaments. These are the champions. These are the role models for a future. These are people that have all the tenets of the martial arts: courtesy, respect, discipline. And these are our future champions. These are future leaders. And so no better way for them to test their skills than at a national tournament, such as the Battle of Atlanta like that. Do you have fighters coming from all over the world to compete?
Absolutely. We've had fighters from many countries compete at the Battle of Atlanta. One of the things I want to say about the Battle of Atlanta has an historic history of being the place to go win if you're a fighter. And that legacy is still carrying on
Right.
today. I mean, honestly, today and yesterday, we did these fighting divisions, the top fighters in the country, plus some, fighters from Canada and all over. The best of the best is here. The Bailey Murphys, uh, all those top
Right.
fighters are all here at the Battle of Atlanta. We had almost 60 competitors in our open weight division, and it's down to two, and we'll find out tonight. Two of the top fighters in the country, probably top fighters in the world,
Right.
will be going head to head tonight in our show. So it's just been amazing the transition that's been made, and how the legacy of the fighting of the Battle of Atlanta is not only the still going on, but some of these fighters now, they're just incredible. I mean, Keith, you know how fast some of these guys are, what kind of athletes they are compared to, how they were back in the day.
Well, not,
But
not
yes,
only that, but it's a segue to other bigger things. The
correct.
very best in the world are all here being represented. One of them happened to be his own son, Brian Ruth. And I personally, along with Keith Sternberg, we produced a movie called Super Fights. And from this Battle of Atlanta that he had won, I took him and let him audition for the movie. And as soon as the director saw him, fell in love with him, and he was one of the stars in the movie. I had interviewed earlier today a guy named Trent Spence. He's on the top 10 team. He said that one of his guys is in the finals tonight for the open division.
Yes,
And I was trying to let him know that this tournament is bigger than he even thinks about the impact it's going to have on the winners.
exactly.
It's going to change their lives, and we've got Hollywood looking for new stars. We have karate school owners, and these young kids are our future. When I say future, these are our future teachers and instructors around the country. So how these people come and compete and get along with each other, it has a direct impact on changing their entire lives. So I just want to congratulate you for having this tournament. It
Thank you.
changed my life personally. It changed your son's life, Brian. He did awesome in it. It's going to change these form practitioners and fighters and kids' lives in ways they don't even know yet, but as the promoter. So thank you so much for your time, and
So,
thank you so much for promoting this great event.
absolutely. And I would like to say too that, let's don't just do fighters, because some of the greatest stars
Right,
in film today have came off the stage, the Ernie Reyes Juniors and, and,
right,
and all those guys in the world. Specifically for me, Keith, phone call a few years ago from a production company just wanted to know if I knew a good young kid that could play a part in the movie. At that time, I had no idea, so I sent Jay Presley down there,
Right.
the great weapons and forms competitors, or Keith, and he interviewed. The next thing I know, he's got a role in the movie The Accountant, and now he's out in Hollywood doing many, many things. So the Battle of Atlanta has been a great stage over the years for all people that
Right.
came here, whether
Yeah.
weapons, forms, or fighting.
Thank you so
Yes.
much for mentioning that, because
That's a
I had been speaking to people earlier that says, well, what's my most favorite thing that I like about the battle? Of course, I'm a fighter. I like fighters, but that's not my number one. My number one thing that I enjoy watching are the form and the weapons. And at the Battle of Atlanta finales or the finals, you'll see the best athletes on the planet, not just in martial arts. You'll see guys doing techniques like that, of Jackson Rudolph with the bow, and you'll totally be amazed
Right.
what these kids can do. So personally, as a fighter, most fighters look to the forms practitioners and the weapons guys. Those are the people that we really admired the most. And sometimes they would reversely go, oh, we look up to you fighters. But if you want to come to a show, if you want to see some of the best athletes in the world, you're going to see them, and it's going to be really broadcast and showcased the most with the forms and the weapons, and especially the team competitions that you guys have.
absolutely
Do you have any new divisions that you originated this year?
originated this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's something different that other maybe tournaments don't
Yes,
have.
we want to take we always like to take the leadership in a lot of things here, but one of the things we did this year differently is we put on something called the Korean Challenge. So Korean has been kind of fallen to the wayside as far as, how they can compare and compete with all the Japanese stylists and all the traditional forms. So we wanted to give them something to highlight them. So you're going to see them highlighted in the finals at the battle this year. We'll have something kind of different where the men are down to 2 and they'll go head to head and declare a winner, and the same thing for the women. So just to give that,
It's unique.
unique thing to those guys, because let's be honest, probably 70% of all martial artists in America today are some form of Korean, whether it
Right.
be Tang Soo Do or Taekwondo or whatever. So we want to make sure they have a platform here
That's
in
wonderful.
sports martial arts in this open style competition to be able to come to, and compete. So we wanted to highlight them and maybe get that out to the whole country.
That's wonderful. I've never heard that. I am, of course, my first degree is in Taekwondo.
Right.
So I'm a Korean stylist. Now, I've studied American karate. I've studied with Jackie Chan, some of the greatest, Joe Louis, Bill Wallace,
Yeah.
but it's the foundation. The Korean foundation is
Yes.
what I think gave me that stable foundation to go on and do what I did and
Right.
achieve it in life. So no, that I've never even heard of something like that. I know when I used to compete on the West Coast, it was heavily favored towards the Asians as far as kung
Yes.
fu. Do you have kung fu divisions here as
Oh,
well?
absolutely. We still have the Chinese soft style divisions, and
Yeah.
we have competitors in there. It's just not as big as it used to be, or the competitors are just not as good as they used to be for whatever the reason. I mean, it's just one of those things that the sports has regressed a little bit with those Chinese style martial artists. They kind of have their own events that
I
they
get you.
attend
I
to.
see.
Yes.
And what about continuous fighting? Do you have this events for continuous fighting?
We do something here at the Battle Mania, something here at the Battle called Battle Mania. It's all fighting. People are offered for one price to be able to do tag team sparring, mixed double sparring, open rank for color belts, and also continuous sparring for all ranks. And then, padded sword, which has got to be one of the most exciting things for kids, because they just take a padded sword and, they just kind of beat each other up in the ring. It's really fun.
Say it again. Tag team what?
Tag team sparring. What that means is that, you're going to be sparring. You have 2 people on the team, you're sparring, and you can tag out.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just so much fun. The
Wonderful.
kids love it. I mean, we had 27 kids in one division. So it's great.
That's
Yeah.
you've got to be a creator. You've got to
Yes.
change. You can't just stand. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
I'm like totally blown away. That's wonderful. That'd be fun to watch.
It is.
Anything exciting that we should look forward to tonight in the finals?
That last match, well, it's not the last match, but
Right.
there's 2 things really highlighted with the sparring. And number one is the last match with the 2 open weight
Right.
guys that are vying for that title. They're the 2 top fighters in the country. One is from top 10 and one is from straight up. But again, the same teams top 10 straight up will be fighting for the team finals and
Exactly.
fight. You're going to see,
Oh, that's good. We
you know,
can't wait.
some outstanding fighting. And something unique to the battle this year is too, we're going to do a ESPN game day type thing out front where guys are going to make predictions, have fun. We even have Zach Johnson here, the PGA golfer, who's a previous
What?
Master winners,
I
and
don't know who
also
it is.
he's captain of the Ryder Cup team this year. He'll be here, and he's going to be on the game day. We might even do a little putting. You never can tell what we might do here.
Do you know some of the top female forms and weapon competitors?
Yeah, Haley Glass is pretty much the dominant female forms competitor at this point. She's just back. This is her first tournament back because she was with Royal Caribbean Cruises doing some performances on a cruise for a while. So yes, she's one of the top forms competitors. And then Jackson Rudolph's wife is also a top traditional forms competitor, and you'll see her on stage tonight as well. So it's awesome, pretty awesome.
I'm a big fan of Jackson.
Yeah.
I think he's just he's a breath of fresh air for the martial arts. He's
Absolutely.
new, he's exciting. He reminds me of Ernie Reyes and senior and juniors. You know, they burst upon this scene and they
Right.
change the dynamics of the
Yeah.
martial arts. And I think that young kid, you know, and he's also working with Black Belt Magazine. He's following the tournament. He's doing the ratings
Yeah.
and he's competing. And, you know, what a wonderful kid. So I'm
Yes, sir.
so glad. And what about the guys? Any top from, not fighters, but forms or weapons that you want to give a shout out
Well,
to?
yes, there's Ben Jones, there's Esteban Tremblay, you know, there's Dawson Holt. I mean, the men's divisions are, since they've just moved up a year or so ago, out of the 16 to 17-year-old divisions, is pretty stacked. We had 23 competitors in one of the CMX divisions, and there was probably 9 guys in there that could have won today. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
privileged to have all the top competitors that come here pretty much every year now. So we're excited about that
Right.
as well.
This is it. This is, you know, we knew even back in my day, the battle is the battle. If you want to be rated top in the country, top 10, you've got to come here and do well and win here.
Yep.
And every one of those that won here in the battle in Atlanta, Georgia, got their articles written about them in magazines. They appeared on covers. Those covers created stars all over the country, not just here, but all over the world.
Yes.
So your tournament was so directly responsible for creating martial arts stars. Cynthia Rothrock is one of them. She's a major star like that. There's so many that competed, and your tournament's directly responsible for their, their path.
Well, I couldn't be more humbled to hear you say that, Keith, but I have to, you know, give credit where credit is due. You know, my good friend, your good friend, Mr. Joe Corley, started this back in 1970.
Right.
And he built and did a lot for the world
Right.
we live in, called sport karate now. I'm just so thankful and kind of proud that he allowed me to and entrusted me in his legacy to keep this thing going. And it's just been a wonderful experience for me for the past 12 years.
Right. And you haven't missed a beat, and it's actually gotten bigger and more exciting. And I think what I love about it is these new creative divisions that you have.
Yes.
Gosh, we had loved to have had that back in our day, because I would have had a tag team with Mike Geneva and Ray McCallum and Dan Anderson and all these great fighters. And we would have challenged fighters from around the world.
Yeah.
And to come and but none of us would have tapped out. We got nothing.
Gotcha.
But they'd be going, let tap out so we can come in.
Yes, sir.
This is exciting for me, and I can't wait to see the finals tonight.
Okay.
And thank you so much again.
Thank you,
for
Keith. I
allowing me to
very
interview.
appreciate it. Thank you for
All right,
having me.
thank you.